evening and welcome to News Hour on the SLBC. I am Kojo Kwafo. Coming up in News Hour tonight, around 1 million passengers to pass through the Lunga International Airport after the construction of the new airport terminal. The Chief Minister, Professor David Francis, extols the benefits of having an independent commission for peace and national cohesion to members of Parliament. Citizens and non-citizen residents in Sierra Leone will soon own a national identification card. And former Ghanaian President John Jerry Rawlings passes on at age 73. Details are coming up shortly, but first, our coronavirus preventive message. The Chief Minister, Professor David Francis, has told members of Parliament that the Independent Commission for Peace and National Cohesion 2020, when enacted, would be a permanent infrastructure for peace in post-war Sierra Leone. It could be recalled that a conference on peace and national cohesion, BIN23, was held in May 2019 to chart the way forward in unifying the country, and have a peace commission was one of the recommendations that was made during that conference. Joseph Toure witnessed the session in Parliament.
It was an interesting moment in the well of Parliament for both MPs of the ruling and opposition parties to debate the bill titled Independent Commission for Peace and National Cohesion 2020. Though observations were made by MPs of the main opposition party on receiving the bill late, a mutual agreement was however reached at by both sides for the proceedings to continue. While presenting the bill during the second reading, Chief Minister Professor David Francis described the bill as a foundation for national cohesion and developments to create a new Sierra Leone.
Mr. Speaker, please permit me to outline the strategic objectives of this Peace Commission bill and why Sierra Leone needs an independent commission for peace and national cohesion as a permanent infrastructure for peace in post-war Sierra Leone. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, today, peace has a permanent address in Sierra Leone, and that address is the Independent Commission for Peace and National Cohesion.
Like other MPs of the ruling SLPP, Honorable Dixon Rogers noted, the bill is not controversial and will speak to ethnicity.
Honorable members, if we want to implement this bill to the letter, I want to see in the not too distant future wherein my son will be filling form, they will not ask him or her which region they are coming from. Because sometimes the discrimination starts from there.
Other issues that came up strongly include the inclusion of CSOs, media and popularizing of the said bill nationwide.
We want to see this bill being a bill that every political party should involve in the planning of this bill. The simple reason is because this bill will not succeed when political parties are in the center of this bill.
So we need a commission that will not only sit down in air-conditioned offices in Freetown. We need a commission that will not only rely on official reports that are doctored. We need commissions that will make site visits, that will talk to victims, that will talk to aggrieved communities, that will not depend on official records to take action.
But members of the main opposition party said they need to read the bill thoroughly before they could debate on it in subsequent sitting. Parliament was adjourned to the 13th of November 2020. SLBC, Joseph Toure reporting.
Well, my colleague Joseph Toure later caught up with the Chief Minister, Professor David Francis, and started by asking him about the importance of the bill.
This is a commitment by His Excellency, the President, Dr. Julius Maada Bio. In the sitting opening of Parliament in May 2018, the President made a commitment to establish an independent commission for peace and national cohesion to help the country move the process of peace building and prevention. And that was followed by the Binti Manu III national dialogue process in May 2019. And that Binti Manu III national dialogue developed a roadmap to establish the independent commission for peace and national cohesion. So engage with the relevant key stakeholders, and the communique of the Binti Manu III was popularized across the country by the Ministry of Political and Public Affairs. So what we see here in this bill is a summary of all of these events, and that has accumulated into the Independent Commission for Peace and National Cohesion Act 2020. So this is what was presented to Parliament in the first and second reading today.
So can you take us through, in your statement you said there are 6 parts of the bill. Can you take us through what are some of the events?
Well, 3 important parts I want to emphasize. First is functions of the Commission. What will it do? For the first time in the history of this country, we have an independent commission for peace and national cohesion that will help in conflict prevention, conflict management, conflict resolution, peacemaking, peace building, that is owned by the people, led by the people. So the commissioners will involve the appointment of commissioners for each of the regions. So that gives an inclusive and participatory process. So that is one. The second aspect is what will the commission actually do? The functions are specified. There will not be any duplication of existing functions with other agencies and departments of government. The third aspect is the powers of the Commission. It's specified in Part 3, Article 12. It says that it will have the powers of the High Court, specifically in the area of investigation. That is very similar to the powers, privileges, and rights of the High Court in case of trial vested in the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone Act 2004. So this is not new. The fourth aspect that is really important in this case is that of the independence of the Commission. The independence of the Commission means that the Commission will operate without political interference. That is important, so that the commissioners and the Commission are able to do their work free from the baggage of political interference. So those are the unique features of this bill that we are presenting. But for the first time in the modern history of this country, peace has a permanent address in Sierra Leone, and that address is the Independent Commission for Peace and National Cohesion.
So how far have you gone to consulting other political parties, engagement, because you had the undertones with members of Parliament to achieving this particular
all across the aisle, all the members of Parliament said, one after another, that is that they need a bipartisan approach to this bill, and that they will provide a bipartisan approach to making sure that this bill passes through Parliament. The consultative process is very good, because in the period when it was announced by His Excellency the President in May 2018 to the Binti Manu III, May 2019, we have engaged with parliamentarians. Even with the draft bill, I as Chief Minister, leading on this on behalf of His Excellency the President, we engage with all the political parties, the different opposition parties, the main opposition party, because they have been very supportive. I have to commend them. and the other small opposition parties, including the NGC, the C4C, they have been very supportive of this process. So I have no doubt that by tomorrow, when the third reading commences, you will see why this bill is so important, because peace and national cohesion are in the national interest. So we have a bipartisan support for this.
Okay, so when this bill is passed into law, what will this mean for Sierra Leone?
For the first time, Sierra Leone has a permanent infrastructure for peace to help resolve, manage, and prevent conflicts, but also to build the peace. We cannot have development. We cannot have socio-economic progress. We cannot have democratic consolidation if we don't have peace. This is what this commission is going to help us do. So that for once, Sierra Leoneans have in their DNA the mentality that we all need peace and we work together for peace and national cohesion.
And that was the Chief Minister, Professor David Francis, and in that interview with Joseph Toure. The Minister of State, Office of the Vice President, Frances Peggy Algali, has said that the fight against malnutrition involves the enactment of policies and legislations by Parliament. She was speaking at the Brookfields Hotel during a parliamentary dialogue on nutrition towards achieving the 2025 Global Nutrition Targets organized by Scaling Up Nutrition Secretariat in the Office of the Vice President. Thomas Neal now reports.
Attaining food and nutrition security in Sierra Leone and achieving 2025 global nutrition targets requires a concerted effort, and parliamentarians are key actors in the process due to the legislative, budgetary and policy oversight roles in the development of legal frameworks and policies. The Minister of State, Office of the Vice President, Frances Peggy Algali, said the dialogue is intended to influence parliamentarians to support actions for the reduction of malnutrition in the country, stressing that through their support, they will profile hunger and malnutrition issues in the national agenda of human capital development. She said there has been a move by the Scaling Up Nutrition movement to tackle government financial commitment to nutrition using the national budget, and in 2016 it emerged that the overall expenditure on nutrition was only 0.70% of gross domestic products. Madam Algali called on members of parliament to put nutrition high on the national agenda for a well-nourished and healthy nation.
Such support for important legislations can go a long way in reducing malnutrition and improving the health of women in Sierra Leone. A bill might come regulating the fisheries and marine industry, for example. We all know that fish is the major source of protein for Sierra Leone. So if such a bill comes, we expect as parliamentarians, you will scrutinize such bills. You will look at how it affects nutrition in Sierra Leone before such bills are enacted.
The Food and Agriculture Organization representative, Madam Tipo Yagbeni, said 2025 nutrition targets are achievable if they adopt a preventive approach by improving feeding practices and diversified diets, adding that the dialogue comes at a time when COVID-19 outbreak has highlighted the vulnerability of the food systems. She said the UN family has worked very closely with the Scaling Up Nutrition Secretariat, and some of the achievements include policy plan review, which identifies guiding documents at different levels and in different sectors to determine the extent to which nutrition is reflected. The Senior Nutrition and Food Security Program Advisor, RHA, Dr. Suleiman Osor, said ending hunger and malnutrition is one of Ireland's international development priorities, adding that they recognize that hunger and malnutrition is an impediment for children to reach their full potential. The Chief Executive Officer, Focus 1000, Alhaji Mbijalo, said as civil society they welcome the partnership with members of parliament, and as the partnership progresses, the country will achieve the 2025 global nutrition targets.
We expect 3 children to come out, at least 3. The first one is the commitment from the parliamentarians, and that's what we are seeing. Already, the fact that you are able to be here, you left all the important engagements to be here, that in itself is a sign of your commitment. But we want that commitment to be taken out of parliament also, when you get into your constituents, to educate mothers, especially also fathers, because we want men to be equally involved in this engagement.
The Ministers of Health and Sanitation and Agriculture pledged their ministry's support to achieve the 2025 Global Nutrition Target. At the end of the program, parliamentarians endorsed a declaration of commitment for nutrition in the country. For News Hour in Freetown, Thomas still reporting.
Citizens and non-citizens resident in Sierra Leone will soon own a national identification card. This disclosure was made during a stakeholders meeting held with political parties, civil society organizations, and others on the verification process for the civil registration register, which will lead to the production of the national identity cards. Emmanuel Alfred Samura witnessed the meeting.
National identification card is one of the burning needs of citizens, especially for those who frequently travel within the sub-region. Its demand is high because it identifies one as a citizen of a country and also enables one to do any transaction within the country. This meeting held with stakeholders was to inform them on the progress made so far and for them to also endorse the start of the confirmation exercise of the civil register. Giving an update on the progress made, Director of Operation and Services, NCRA, Abubakar Javumbo, said they have done nationwide engagement with stakeholders on the process. He said the confirmation centers are the places where people confirm and correct any mistake made on their information. He said the process will be decentralized, as even the staff that will be involved will be drawn from the said district. Abubakar Javumbo added that the pilot phase of the confirmation exercise will be conducted in Western area. He said the process will be digitalized, as this will enable one to do his or her confirmation in any center because the biometric population data will be uploaded on laptops. The benefit of the process, Abubakar said, will facilitate the printing and acquisition of biometric identification cards, ensure the development of a permanent civil register, obtains digital identity for ease of financial inclusion and credit reference, among others. Civil society organizations commend NCRA for the strides made so far, but comment on the publishing of timelines of events.
They need timelines, and the timelines are not there. So we just recommended to them that we need to have a calendar of activities with timelines to give stakeholders ample time, especially for us as observers, to be able to plan and do our own bit.
While political parties are concerned about proper education of the process to particularly people in remote areas.
The process and how many people are informed, as well as clarity on the whole process. And we have continued to raise these issues because for us as a party, we believe the NCRA, is established by law, and therefore the activities have to be continuous, not just one-off. And so also the people of this country must be well educated, well briefed, and must know the importance of having a civil register.
The confirmation exercise was part of government's endeavor to make sure that citizens and non-citizens in the country is accounted for.
It is estimated that we have about 7.5 or 8 million people in this country. But for the last 3-4 years we have been doing registration, we only have people in our database of 5,072,000. So meaning there's a need for government to move past to be able to account for the remaining 2.something million. That is essence. It's important that everybody in this country is accounted, is made visible. We are now in the process of developing the civil register.
He added that they are currently working on a legislation that will enable the confidentiality and security of personal data people provide to NCRA. Mr. Massaquoi assured stakeholders that they will look into concerns raised for a fruitful outcome of the process. The confirmation process, NCRA noted, will be free, but said they are yet to confirm whether the issuance of ID cards will be free or not. The start of the process, they said, will be communicated in due course. Emmanuel Alfred Samoa, SLBC, Freetown.
Well, for more on the meeting, SLBC spoke to the Director of Operations and Services, NCRA, Abubakar Javumbo.
NCRA give out data to several institutions, and those data, they use it for several other purposes. One of those purposes is that we give data to NEC, and NEC uses that data to develop their voters register, and that is the interest of the political parties. So that is why we call the political parties, like for NRA call for data from NEC, we from NCRA, we give the data to NRA. They process that for tax computation, NACIT for benefits and other enrollment, like immigration, for traveling, for every other thing. So when it comes to NEC, they get that data, they process it to whatever they want now to do their electoral activities, and the political parties have vested interest in that. So once we go to the confirmation exercises, all those that have stake in the business, we invite them, because we want us to do the process together. We own it, and if need be, to defend it.
What input do you think political parties will make in such an important issue?
They have very important things to do. One, take the message. We want everybody to come out, register. Now they take this information down to their constituencies, to their followers. Hey, we want you to come out in your numbers to register, because when you register, these are the benefits you get. It's not only restricted to the data we give to NEC, but there are also other benefits you derive from CRVS registration, like your access to financial benefits, administrative benefits for traveling, for even financial transactions, loans. So they go out. It's like we getting onto them. Last year, around February, March 2019, we got onto all the political parties, CSOs and other MDs like the NEC, the SSL, other CSOs like the NEW. We all got together with even UNDP. We went around this country educating people about the need to register and the link between the civil register, and the voters register. That link, some people do not know that link, so we're explaining the link and the benefits.
So I don't know if the issue of the link between civil and voter registration was actually discussed, because we all knew that some political parties had issued with that issue.
Yes.
That's still an aspect of the civil registration and that of the voter registration. Where, you know, NCAP mandate stops and where NEC will actually take from.
The whole thing was misconstrued, you understand? What we give to NEC is not voters register. The data we give to NEC is not voters register. We give data to NEC. NEC take that particular data now, you understand, divide, fine-tune that particular data into polling stations. Like if they are going to set the polling station now, it's not the business of NCRA to go into all those things. We give information. What you do with that information is up to you. They take that particular information now, divide it into polling stations, divide it into voters list and all the rest. And NCRA does not give voters register to NEC. The same data we give to them is the same data we give to NACIT, we give to NRA. You use that data now to fit what you want.
Okay, so let's talk about the process for the confirmation of citizens' personal, details. The political parties could just be one of many other sectors that you'll be meeting. So how will the process be on?
The process will be is that we will open centers all over the country, and every registrant, any person that have registered before now, you do not necessarily need to go back to where you registered. We are going to upload all the data we have on everybody within the country into all the machines that we are going to deploy, so that even if you registered in Bo, you do not need to go to Bo again. You find yourself in Freetown, you go to the nearest center in Freetown, you go there and check your details.
So when do people expect to get their national ID card?
The national ID card, the process is on. The procurement will far go into the procurement aspect of it. So the process is on. Soon we'll begin to talk about that. The process, is a huge procurement thing about getting ID card for more than 3 to 4 million people is a hypocrite.
So after the confirmation, what next? Because I guess the confirmation will bring out a lot of issues that actually left out during the registration. So what next?
After the confirmation, the very first thing is that that will begin to will be now in position to print ID cards for people.
Well, that was the Director of Operations and Services, NCRA Abubakar Jovumbo. Residents of Kafubulum Chiefdom in the Potloko district have thanked President Bill for the turning of the sword for the construction of a new terminal of the Freetown International Airport. According to them, the construction of the new terminal will not only bring development to the country, but will also create job opportunities for young people in that part of the country. Hawa Masiri reports.
Since 1967, when the Lunga International Airport runway was expanded, this is the first time in the history of this country that a complete new international airport terminal will be constructed. In the sub-region, Sierra Leone is the only country where partners are demonstrating such confidence to invest such money in a major infrastructure project even during COVID-19. This also means that Sierra Leone under the new direction is an attractive investment destination even with the current coronavirus pandemic. After the construction of the terminal, up to 1 million passengers will pass through the airport every year. This will make Sierra Leone a major transit hub in the sub-region, particularly for passengers coming or going to South America. The president said Sierra Leone has the shortest distance to South America from Africa, about 6 hours flying time. Addressing hundreds of citizens at the Lunga International Airport, President Julius Maada Bio highlighted that his government made a commitment to develop the air transport market. His administration went on believes in job creation, boost new sector of growth, tourism, support trade, and attracts new investment streams. Before COVID, according to President Bio, Lunga served just under 200,000 passengers a year, although the runway, taxiways, and aprons are in good shape. For an international airport, they should be in better shape.
Kafubulum, how it will look like without this airport? Some of we know Naya, but we grew up Naya. So we know what in the airport mean for Kafubulum and for Potloko. So why they take over 300 million, you go put another part of Potloko, where you get one, where you go improve on them, then you do transport link between here and Freetown. We not be see sense in that, and we not want to take that loan there and put on our head because now we not get for pay. Now that make we talk say we go work with Suma. We say then go bring the money, 270 million United States dollars, and can build an airport and operate them. When they done back, they give it the airport.
The Suma Group, he said, will bring its own money, designs, builds, operates, and transfer. The group is also operating in other airports in the ECOWAS region.
The arrangement will make for COVID now, even the leading countries not get it. Now the airport now, we get one of the best arrangements to handle COVID situation. Many people we don't travel Naya, we don't pass through Naya, we don't go England in America say when a system not even near, the system not even near una. So I want for make una know say we can do a salon. Now lazy no more we listen and a bad habit and we get for drop that habit today. All the examine we serve and possibly they grow, you know they know. Now other person they tell you say they grow. Now America, one corporation where they examine what thing they happen, per corruption, per water business, per education, per plenty side and then talk say that true they even with the COVID, where we they struggle and we don't know what to do. Salon don't make progress. And pan the corruption in particular, besides the fact that we don't ever since they start for examining Salon, now the first time this will get 13 over 17.
The chairman of the Office of the President on Infrastructure Initiative, Dr. John Tambi, said that the new approach is a new way of rapidly implementing major infrastructure projects through his office.
Our mandate is to plan, design and implement transformative and strategic infrastructure projects across all sectors.
Minister of Transport and Aviation, Cabinet Kalon, described the day as significant because government recognizes air transport as key to economic development, as increased airport capacity can raise productivity in other sectors of the economy such as tourism and investment. He disclosed that in March 2019, a gap analysis on African aviation infrastructure was conducted in line with ACAO Council decision.
Over the years, a team of experts from the Airport Council International participated in an extensive peer review known as APEX Safety Review of the Facility Procedure Organization of the Freetown International Airport. At the request of the state, APEX Safety Review was conducted under the ACI for Airport Excellence in Safety Programs. This was to serve as a part of our preparedness for the airport certification, which is the key manifesto promise under your leadership, His Excellency.
Deputy Minister of Finance Patricia Nyanga Lavali noted that the project was designed on a cost recovery basis by the private sector partner. She noted that the financial terms for this project are in line with government's financial objectives. Minister of Northwestern Region, Haja Aissatou Kamara, commended President Julius Maada Bio for putting words into action. Paramount Chief of Kafubulum Chiefdom and the board chairman of the Lunge International Airport also appreciated government for the expansion project. The entire project will be done within 24 months and will also create jobs for 2,000 citizens.
For SABC TV News Hawamosibe reporting from Kafubulum, Potloko district in the northern region of Sierra Leone.
Well, meanwhile, my colleague Maya Masuma, who also witnessed the turning of the sword, looks at how the community welcomes the development.
This is the atmosphere here at the Freetown International Airport, Lunge, in the Kafubulum Chiefdom, Potloko district. Residents of this community and beyond expressed their happiness and gratefulness to President Bio for dancing and singing for the turning of the sword for the construction of a modernized terminal at the Freetown International Airport.
This is the Freetown International Airport here in Kafubulum Chiefdom, Potloko district. Residents of this community here today are very happy as our president is here today to turn the sword for the construction of the new terminal of the Freetown International Airport. Well, they are very happy with regards to that. As the youth, especially the youth, for them it's going to be a job opportunity for them as they've been yearning for such opportunity. The airport itself, according to authorities, it's going to be a standard one, a modernized one that will be compared to other international airports, especially for different countries like Ghana, Liberia and Guinea.
Youth Chairman Potloko District, Fode Wage, emphasized the need for a new terminal to be constructed. As he noted, Sierra Leone was far behind in terms of modernized terminals compared to other countries within the sub-region. He said he decided to capacitate his youth in different skills so that they would be able to be part of the project that will serve as a job opportunity for his colleagues.
Most of the youths them have been sending OICs.
I have ensured that most of the youths in the Potloko district were capacitated in skills like electrical installation, welding and construction and many others. So we are well prepared to take up this opportunity to avoid the company importing youths from other parts of the country to take this opportunity from us.
They're ready now. Most of the land they work and they're prepared.
This is the departure lounge of the terminal of the Freetown International Airport. This lounge can only accommodate less than 500 passengers at a time, which makes it difficult for passengers and authorities here when they have to attend to more than one flight a day. Speaking to the SLBC, General Manager for the Freetown International Airport, Jack Masakoi, said, despite the recent upgrade on the airport terminal, facilities are still inadequate to meet future passenger demands, which make it timely for the construction of a new and modernized terminal.
Challenged because we are challenged with space. We have been having complaints from even the travel public of congestion because By the time 2 or 3 flights arrive together, the terminal building is packed full because the capacity of that terminal building is for about 200 passengers. So assuming KQ is on the ground, A-Sky and process as normally happens, it becomes a challenge for us. So that's why we are looking forward to this new phenomenon of having a new brand, state-of-the-art structure.
A beautiful building, the gateway to Sierra Leone will be represented.
Glad for what is happening today for launching this year.
I'm very happy for what is happening here today. See the president turning the sword for the construction of a new terminal. As youth in this community, we are here without jobs and we have gone through some skills training. But with the arrival of this project, we are very much happy as we believe this will create job opportunities for us. We want to appeal to the government to commence the project of the bridge as that will create more jobs for us the youth and there will be less problems in the community.
Need the bridge for it create more employment for the youth here.
Chairman Presidential Infrastructure Initiative John Tambi told SLBC that the construction of the new terminal will include a parallel taxiway to the existing runway, the structural upgrading and resurfacing of the existing runway, the construction of a new passenger terminal and a new VIP presidential terminal, a new air traffic control tower, a new search and rescue firefighting facility, a new parking lot and the upgrading of the navigational aid at the airport.
About 6 to 7 acres.
So what's the exact cost for this entire project?
I'll name about 5 different facilities, right? The runway, $270 million. 270.
So how long do you expect this project to be completed?
2 years.
It appears that youth are not the only ones celebrating this new development. Women are also very happy. As for them, this project will help boost the economic sector. Kadiatu Bangura is the chairlady of the Kasonga Women's Organization in the Kafubulum Chiefdom.
We feel very happy for this project. The construction of this new terminal will help our businesses grow and create job opportunities for our husbands, sons and brothers. That is why we are here to support the president.
Minister of Information and Communications Mohamed Rahman Soare described the project as a development sans frontier. The communication minister said the project is intended to unlock the vast touristic potential of the country, increase air transport services, promote the aviation industry, and most importantly establish Sierra Leone as a regional hub for both passenger and cargo traffic.
This is a new direction here. This is President Bill. He is ensuring that, my French is not good, but this is development sans frontier. This development knows no boundaries. It knows no borders. This is the country's only international air gateway. We have to give it the opulence it deserves.
On completion, Sierra Leone will get a new airport befitting its status as a regional gateway. For SLBC News, Maria Masuma reporting.
Most West African migrants who fail to reach Europe eventually return to their home countries, but it can be a bitter homecoming. Over the years, returnees were often rejected by relatives and friends. The Ministry of Social Welfare has now supported returnees from Kuwait and Lebanon, amongst other European countries, with financial aid. 100 returnees received cash support. Jonathan Turner reports.
Earlier this year, hundreds of migrants returned from Kuwait, Lebanon and amongst other European countries to Sierra Leone with help from the IMO and the government of Sierra Leone. According to a recent UN report, there are now an estimated 258 million people living a country other than their country of birth. Abuse of migrants is happening in many places. These returnees have been aided with financial support by Sierra Leone government as a reintegrated and life skill support to migrants. The Minister of Social Welfare, Bendu Dasama, said the support was to help transform the lives of the returnees to get better life in the society. The minister also called on the migrants to serve as agents of change in the country.
Well, we expect that they use this to start something. Something, no matter how little, that's what we expect. We expect that they don't go anywhere again. That's why I've told them that the ministry will make sure we monitor. And really the government had to step in to give them this money, because this group, they've never received anything from IOM. That's why government decided to give them at least some little amount to start. But whilst we are monitoring, if we realize that some people have misused the money, they will not get more, because we are hoping that if anything comes, we'll add to what they already have. That is if anything comes, because most times we get help from our partners.
In the words of World Hope International Technical Advisor Janet Nicol, opportunity, dignity and hope should be given to the migrants at all times in order for them to move forward in life.
We are grateful that the constraints of these citizens have been recognized and acknowledged by the government of Sierra Leone. 3 themes characterize the values of World Hope International: opportunity, dignity, and hope. For those of you who are receiving the support, this is an opportunity to move forward. Be creative and determined with this opportunity to make the best of it you can.
One of the returnees from Kuwait, Zainab Conte, said living a life as a migrant in Kuwait is like staying in hell. She appreciated the Minister of Social Welfare and the government for the financial and psychosocial support.
I've been waiting for this for a very, very long time, because some of us and some of our colleagues, when they came back, they didn't come with nothing. Talk less of some are sick, some are punished, some have so many accidents, so many things occur. So when we came back to Sierra Leone, we have so many discussions, we yarn and we plead to Papa government so that Papa government will help us. But alhamdulillah.
Other speakers advised the migrants not to take short adventure again and be agents of change in their respective communities. For SLBC News, Jonathan reporting.
And now for some news from around the African continent. Angolan police have fired live ammunition and used tear gas against youths protesting against poverty in Luanda on Wednesday. Protests against the government, usually met with violence, have been going on for several weeks in Luanda, motivated by high unemployment, the cost of living and state corruption. Protesters, supported by UNITA, the main opposition party, also called for local elections, which had been postponed due to the coronavirus pandemic, to be held. Demonstrations were rare when current President João Lourenço succeeded José Eduardo dos Santos in 2017, raising hopes for change after decades of corruption and nepotism. Local media has reported that Ghana's former president, John Jerry Rawlings, has died in Accra Thursday morning. He is said to have passed on at the nation's premier hospital, the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Jerry Rawlings had been on admission at the hospital for about a week for an undisclosed ailment. There are rumors that he died from COVID-19 complications, but this has not been confirmed. Local online news portal Graphic Online reports that Mr. Rawlings fell sick after his mother's burial about 3 weeks ago. As a former Ghanaian military leader and subsequent politician, Rawlings led a military junta from 1981 to 1992. He then served 2 terms as a democratically elected president of Ghana from January 1993 to January 2001. Ivory Coast's President Alassane Ouattara and his main rival Henry Konan Bedi said they have decided to make peace in the country after weeks of violence over a disputed presidential election. The two men said they would keep talking following a meeting in the commercial capital Abidjan on Wednesday, which they described as an icebreaker. The government says 85 people have been killed in violence connected with the election in which Mr. Ouattara won a controversial third term. A number of opposition leaders have been arrested after denouncing the poll and setting up a rival administration. It's now time for entertainment news.
Hello and welcome to the entertainment news. My name is Daphne Kimama-Macaulay. Now, all the roommates are up for eviction, including Mamina Power. Well, I feel sad though for the Conte family that made their way to the vacation house, and they all thought that they are not going to be up for eviction, but now they are all up for eviction. Well, they won the family week last week and they made their way to the vacation house. The twist is interesting as the tension intense in the village. It seems as if roommates are now getting deep in the game. There have been too many conspiracies, palavers, gossip, all in the name of winning the 500 million yuans. Well, it's worth the fight anyway. Digital education was a session they had from the principal sponsor of the show, which is Orange. The session was to inform the ladies on the importance of digitalization in the telecommunications industry and especially in marketing. The use of technology to improve business ideas and empower one's self. Before that, Patricia and Victoria were on fire, and the punishment for that is for them to not wash and both of them being in the barri on their own. Yeah, I think that's punishment is enough, but if you want to know what follows that punishment, continue to watch the show. And to keep your favorite roommates in the village, send the number of your favorite roommates to 2020 on all Orange line, and or you use the catcher and make multiple votes. So that's all we have time for. Thanks for joining me.
Let's now go over to our sports desk for the latest in sports.
Charity, they say, begins at home, and the saying is true. You know as much as I do that the Leon Stars of Sierra Leone will face the Super Eagles of Nigeria on Friday. Now, Sierra Leone swings in Group L in the ongoing African Cup of Nations qualifiers with 1 point, having played 2 matches. Citizens have called on Coach John Kista to win results for the country against Nigeria in the double-header match, which many believe is Kista's biggest match since he began coaching Leon Stars. According to some citizens, the country has not been producing results for the past years, which they describe are killing the sportsmanship of the country's supports. Mohamed Lamin Touré witnessed the last game of Leon Stars before its departure.
Sierra Leone will be playing Nigeria in the AFCON qualifiers on the 13th and the 17th of November. The doubleheader will mark 16 games played by the country's national side Leon Stars against its counterpart, who has won 9 games, while Sierra Leone has won only 2 and had 3 draws from the 14 matches being played. The country's average score 0.5 goals per match against Super Eagles. Home and away showed Leon Stars had conceded more goals in all matches. After 7 away matches with the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Sierra Leone has failed to defeat the Eagles in its own pitch. The country has a weak record in the African Cup of Nations, which many believe is not encouraging, as huge amount of money is spent on the country's national team. Supporters are urging the team to produce results this time, as 15 foreign-based players will be joining its home base.
We are looking forward to this result. A draw would be a satisfactory result for the country.
Well, definitely, even though I'm not expecting a victory, because the Nigerian squad, they are very competent compared to our own squad that have played for the game. But
I'm hoping that even if we don't have victory, but at least the game we have a draw, that will give a better side for Sierra Leone.
I'll be 3 friendly match, and looking at the team, the squad we have now, we're trying to do a transition process with the national team. But for me, seeing them play these 3 matches, it seems like they need to do more. And I'm playing against Super Eagles. They are Super Eagles. They're not called Super Eagles because they want to call them Super Eagles. It's because they have what it takes. They've got the players.
A freelance sport journalist, Afri Radio, Alhaji Mohammed Mansari, believes perhaps the boys will win the double encounter against Nigeria.
To his first win in these 2 matches against Nigeria. So it's a big task for Leon Stars, being that our last 5 matches, we have actually won just 1 and actually lost all the balanced matches. So it's sad we are going into this game with such a record at this particular moment. Leon Stars, as it stands, we are the underdogs going to face the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
Coach John Kista has informed members of the media in a press conference about the preparation of the national team Leon Stars at the Golden Tulips Hotel in Freetown. Leon Stars will approach the match against the Super Eagles with a very strong frame of mind. But will the recent happenings ahead of SLAFA's Congress and the embattled Aisha Yuansin have any impact in the country's football?
Over the years, Leon Stars has failed to succeed because, 1, we have not been playing football because of issues around the football family. Yes, it has actually turned on the players, because these players are the players we are depending on to go into the national team to make success. But unfortunately, because of the terrible situation around the football family, it has actually stopped the growth of these players. That is why our home-based players, are not having the opportunity they deserve, because football has not been played over the years. So now it's a time for us, if we want our football to go to another level, is to put our differences aside, especially when it comes to the national team.
Nigeria takes on Sierra Leone in an African Cup of Nations qualifier game as the race for Cameroon 2022 gets fiercer. How determined are the players?
Yeah, we gotta have the belief, I know we're playing Nigeria and it's a massive team and all that stuff, but yeah, we're Sierra Leone also, and we got the players, and yeah, we have to have the belief that we can qualify. We're going for a good result. It's our away game. We're going there to get a good result to come back home.
Having won its first 2 games against Benin Republic and Lesotho, the 3 times African champions will be going for victory as it hopes to consolidate its position as Group L leader. Nigeria will come into the fixture well prepared following its recent international friendly against the African champions Algeria and Tunisia in Austria. Following their dreadful start in the qualifying series, John Kista's men know that anything short of all maximum points against Nigeria will spell doom in their race to appear at the African Football Showpiece for the 3rd time ever. For SABC Sport, Mohamed Lamintu reporting.
Well, all the best to the Stars of Sierra Leone in their doubleheader against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. With this, we happily draw this edition of Sports Updates to a close. I'm Abdul Kabir, and thanks for watching.
Don't forget, you can always watch our entertainment channel on channel 31 on Satcom and the main news on channel 1 of the same Satcom. And now to end the news, a recap of the main points. President Julius Maada Bio has told the people of Kafubulum that around 1 million passengers will pass through Lunga International Airport after the construction of the new airport terminal. The Chief Minister, Professor David Francis, has told members of Parliament the benefits of having an independent commission for peace and national cohesion. The National Civil Registration Authority has said citizens and non-citizens resident in Sierra Leone will soon own a national identification card. And former Ghanaian President John Jerry Rawlings passed on at age 73. Well, that's all in this SLBC News Hour from Freetown with me, Kojo Kwafo. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and if you can, stay safe. Goodbye.